Governor, yesterday you signed the income tax reform bill.
Yes.
Part of that requires 22%, or is projected 22% more filers will actually pay more than we'll see an initial cut. Is that a concern, and how do we get past that type of messaging?
Well, of course, it's not much. We don't like to raise them at all, but overall, it lowers them substantially. It's about over 300, somewhere between $300 and $400 million. And we're getting lower and lower overall, and we're still lower than North Carolina and Georgia and getting lower. So that's good. That gives us a competitive advantage.
When you were reading over the bill, did you get a sense of how long it would take us to actually eliminate the income tax?
Take a while. I mean, you've got to have taxes from somewhere in order to pay for the roads, pay for everything, all the public things that we have. You have city taxes, you have county taxes, you have state taxes, you have federal taxes. I think the federal government probably wastes the most money. You know, and they don't even have a balanced budget. They can spend more than they take in and have to borrow money from banks to pay for it and sell bonds. We have to have a balanced budget in this state, and that's good. But the people watch, and they're supposed to. They know what the money is being spent on, and that helps us keep a lid on taxes. But the more we can lower them, the more efficient we can be, and the more careful we can be in prioritizing where we put the money, the better off we will be. But our taxes overall in South Carolina are going down. That is the income tax.
There's a bill that moved out of the Senate that would require the termination of Dr. Simmer from the Department of Public Health. If that moves in the House and gets to your desk, what will you do with it?
Well, I think, I've said before, I think Dr. Simmer has done a good job. I think the criticism of him is inaccurate. I think he's done a good job, and his time under the present law will be up sometime in the fall anyway. I think this is unnecessary.
Do you plan on vetoing that bill?
I haven't decided, I haven't seen it. We'll see what it says, but I think it's unnecessary. I think it's an error.
Governor, we have about a month left this session. Anything that you're hoping to see cross the finish line to your desk that you're pushing for, the way things are going right now in the session?
I think that the budget looks pretty good. I think I'm fairly satisfied so far.
Mm-hmm.
Governor, there's been a bevy of gambling bills this session. Obviously, we know your stance on gambling, but is there any form of gambling in the state that you would support?
Any form of gambling?
Any form of gambling, any type of gambling that you
Well,
would support?
casino, no. Gambling is illegal. We went through this with the slot machines or whatever they were called, all that gaming, whether it was a game of skill or a game of chance. And I think the feeling's pretty strong in South Carolina against that kind of gambling. Now, you and I can gamble on which duck is going to take off the pond first, something like that, as long as it's not much. But no, seriously, I don't think that gambling in the forms. I see advertisements in different places. I've been out to Las Vegas for meetings, not to gamble, of course, but I just don't think it's healthy. I think it's better to have Governor Campbell, I thought, stated it very well, and he was very much involved in our strong economic growth. And I think that kind of economic growth, what we're having right now, is much better than this kind of growth. They always tout how much money will come from the operation, but I'd rather have a different operation, building something.
And just another question on simmering the Department of Public Health. Have you done any looking for another person to take over the Department of Public Health? You done any searching for a replacement?
Some people are looking, but it's very difficult to find people to take those jobs. Number one, when they have to go through hearings. Sometimes the hearings get lengthy and are invasive or unnecessary. And then they have to endure this kind of criticism, which I think is misplaced. So sometimes it's difficult to find people to take these jobs.
Now that the field's set, filing's finished, are you looking forward to getting out on the campaign trail and perhaps helping out your lieutenant governor a little bit?
Yes, I am. We got a lot of, she and I still have a lot of work to do. Have a lot of important business that we are conducting right now, but there'll be a little bit of time for the trail.
As one of our longest serving Republicans around these days, because you can actually remember when Democrats beat you occasionally, right? But
Oh, yeah. It wasn't until 1962 that there were any Republicans in any state house office or any statewide office.
held meetings in phone booths back when
Yeah,
they started, right?
that's the way we used to tell the story.
Yeah.
I never saw a meeting in a phone booth, but that's how they used to tell it.
So were you surprised that the Democrats were able to get somebody to run for every single state house seat in all the constitutional offices this year?
No, I think it's good that people want to get involved in public service. It's a good thing, because we need more.
Worried about the atmosphere for Republicans or anything like that, over with what's going on everywhere, you know?
No, I think we will do very well in South Carolina, I'm sure of that.
Governor, there have been calls, legislation filed, as well as calls, even most recently from Attorney General Alan Wilson, to suspend the gas tax. Do you have any thoughts on whether we should suspend the gas tax in the state because of the prices?
I don't think we ought to do that, because we have projects that we're going to have to pay for billions of dollars. And I know it's a sort of a knee-jerk reaction. You have this problem, just try to do something to alleviate it very quickly. But when you start messing with taxes like that, particularly the gas tax, it goes right straight to the roads. And we're spending billions of dollars on our roads. We need to, that's one tax that needs to, we like them all to be lower and lower. But that's one that we should not take any money out of, particularly right now.
Back to the governor's race. What do you think of Lieutenant Governor Abbott's decision not to participate in tomorrow's debate?
Well, I'll, of course, leave that decision up to her. Everybody doesn't go to every debate for various reasons. I think she cited the price it costs to get a table or a ticket, or I haven't talked to her about that, but I'm sure she's got a good reason.
Your former party chairman, Drew McKissick, is just trying to raise money, or he says he's trying to raise money to help Republicans win. Do you think that charging sponsorship fees, large sponsorship fees, is a right move?
It depends on how large the sponsorship fee is. How large is that one?
I think it was 20 grand to get 50 tickets.
Right.
And
For how many tickets?
I think it was 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's access to receptions.
Excuse me, did you say 20,000?
Yeah.
It's low five figures, I know. Like
That's a lot of money.
Will you be watching?
I will be watching, for sure.
Do you critique them? Do you sit there and be like, "Come on, now that's no
You miss
answer"?
it?
Have some popcorn.
There's not a living American that doesn't do that when they watch these debates.
All right, y'all, one more question.
Are you glad you're not on that debate stage anymore?
Oh, I love the debate stage. That's a lot of fun. If you have an answer for about half of the questions, it's a lot of fun.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.